Transformers Rise of the Beasts came out. What I consider to be, and I've said this the whole time, a mistake to make that movie. They should have made Bumblebee 2. But they made, and I really don't think nearly as many people care about Beast Wars, because you have to get Transformers fans and then even narrow it down more, people who are Transformers fans that are also fans of the Beast Wars iteration of that. I just thought it was a mistake. But you had Steve Cappell Jr. directing it, who directed Creed 2. And you know what? He did a pretty good job. I mean, it's not nearly as good as Bumblebee 2, directed by Travis Knight, but it's better than any of the Michael Bay movies. That's not saying a lot. Although I did like the first Transformers movie, but Transformers Rise of the Beast ended up being a fairly harmless, enjoyable time at the movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not one I rushed back out to watch again, but I liked it and I had a good time when I was watching it, right?
Cinemark.
And we saw it at the Cinemark Theater, which was a great experience.
If it's Cinemark.
If it's at Cinemark, we'll go there again, my friends. But, and now this is a minor spoiler, but you know, my rule of thumb for spoilers is if a movie finishes its theatrical run and has been out on streaming and available on digital for a little while, you've had your chance to watch it. So at the very end of the movie, kind of a little added on bonus scene. I can't remember if it was a mid-credit scene or not. They do this little tease where, you know, the hero of the movie is at what he thinks is a job interview, but he finds out it's actually G.I. Joe that's trying to recruit him. And he gets handed this card, and that's the image there. It brings it up, G.I. Joe. And of course, everybody in the theater got a big kick out of that, right? Because you see G.I. Joe in there. You know, I had comics when I was a kid of the G.I. Joe Transformers crossovers. They're both Hasbro properties. Mm-hmm. And so it seemed like they were promising that. Now, you'll have to look up the final box office number for Transformers Rise of the Beast, but I don't think it cracked 500 million.
Oh, it's 430. I have it. It's 433.
433?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it made $433 million, which doesn't suggest to me they're rushing into production of another Transformers movie anytime soon. So that brings up the question, will they actually do it? And that happens to be the topic of another Mint Mobile hotline question we have today, asking specifically about that. Like, how can you do a Transformers and G.I. Joe crossover? Check it out.
Hey, John. This is Thad from Pascagoula, Mississippi. Transformers Rise of the Beast. I finally saw it, and it was a pretty solid Transformers movie. But my issue with the movie is that they introduced a possible crossover with G.I. Joe. And I'm wondering why they did that when both franchises can barely make good movies. I mean, it's a Hasbro thing. I guess they're going to try to make money off of two of their biggest toys and franchises. But do you think that's going to work? I don't know. Thanks, and again, I would have now.
All right, man. Thanks a lot for calling that in. Hey, look, can you even do this? The two biggest hurdles to me about doing a G.I. Joe Transformers crossover is this. Apparently not a lot of people care about Transformers on the big screen anymore. And the second hurdle is, ain't nobody cared about G.I. Joe on the big screen in a long, long time. And I say that as somebody who passionately grew up playing with G.I. Joes and Transformers. I mean, I'll go see any Transformer movie anytime. You want to do another G.I. Joe movie? I suppose I would be interested in it. But the thing about creating these crossover movies is you want to take two things that people are already excited about, you cross them over, and it more than exponentially increases the excitement. The sum of the excitement is greater than the parts, than the sum of the parts. So, I mean, you have to have that. So I'm asking the question, are people excited about Transformers right now? Because you just put out a pretty good Transformers movie, and it barely was able to make more than Black Adam did at 433. And I can't remember what the Dwayne Johnson G.I. Joe movie made, but it wasn't something that made Hasbro or the studios want to rush out and make another one right away. And I haven't heard anybody talk about G.I. Joe other than, you know, maybe Serpentor and a Weather Dominator in a long time. Guys, we want to thank a sponsor of this video,
BetterHelp. Getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process, especially because we're always growing and changing. Think about it. The person you were 5 years ago is not the exact person that you are today. Therapy is all about deepening your self-awareness and understanding, because sometimes we don't know what we want or why we react the way that we do until we talk things through. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who can take you on that journey of self-discovery from wherever you are. And guys, striving for better mental health is something we should all aspire to. I've talked about this before, but when somebody goes to the gym, we applaud them for getting out there to improve their physical health. Well, it's about time that we start looking at mental health the same way, not just by encouraging the people around us to look into therapy, but by also taking the step to take care of our own mental health as well. So listen, if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a short questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. So discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Campea today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Campea.
So I don't think the problem that they have is we don't know how to make these movies good. The last couple of Transformers movies have been good. I think Bumblebee, what do we get for Dwayne Johnson?
Oh, no. That wasn't Rise of Cobra, right?
No. I can't remember what the name of the Dwayne Johnson one was.
But, yeah, so Rise of Cobra, though, it made $302 million.
What year did that come out?
That came out in 2009.
Was that the Dwayne Johnson one?
And then there's the other one. Retaliation was it?
Retaliate, yeah.
That was the Dwayne Johnson
million.
How much?
$375 million.
So that one didn't make $400 million either.
No.
And then didn't they do like Snake Eyes and that flop too?
Oh, yeah, Snake Eyes.
Oh, look at the box office. Okay. Sorry. Oh, my God. That's Snake Eyes movie.
Snake Eyes.
That Snake Eyes movie.
40 million.
40 million.
Opening 13 million. Barbie made
million.
Barbie made more
third opening weekend
on its Monday noon screenings than Snake Eyes. Listen, that Snake Eyes movie should have been awesome. You had a good cast. You had the guy who played what's that?
Henry Golding?
Well, you had Henry Golding in the lead, but you had, I'm forgetting the name of the guy from Warrior.
The one who played Storm Shadow.
Yeah, the guy who played Storm Shadow, who's great, right?
Andrew Koji.
Thank you. Yes, who is fantastic. So you had a solid cast. You had this great popular character. It should have been everything. That movie was such a miserable experience watching that movie. It was so unbelievably bad. And they were trying to launch a new G.I. Joe franchise. They clearly were. But
yeah, it was called Origins at first.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
If you look it up, it's just Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
You know, Pedro Pascal, he's ready for the next Origins.
Oh, yeah. Bring him back, get some Fentor. It was so awful. And I totally forgot about that Snake Eyes movie. So you want to ask, does anybody care about a G.I. Joe Transformer cop? No, nobody does.
I'm going to have to argue against this, all right? Because look, if
you're going to argue against $40 million?
I'm just saying, okay, don't get the big money actors. Get the actors who are decent that actually look the part of the Joes. Stick with their looks like Mortal Kombat did, that reboot Mortal Kombat we just saw. Other than Cole, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, even Kano. He was great. I mean, I didn't even know who they were, like actor-wise. Get some of those. Let everyone know if it's Shipwreck, it's Shipwreck. No one confuses Shipwreck with anyone else. Give him the hat, give him the parrot. Be corny, and then
no one's going to see that.
Don't spend a lot of money on the actors, and just give love to the characters this
At
time.
that point, make it animated.
Give love to the characters.
Yeah, what you're describing is an animated movie. You're not describing a live action movie.
Because Hasbro has been pumping out for some reason, and now I know why after Rise of the Beast. They've been releasing special editions of these G.I. Joe / Transformers figures. The last one I think they're releasing is Megatron and someone. It's probably Destro or something. But they might have some plans for this, but I'm not sure right now. I mean, they took a big loss from.
But here's the thing: you do a G.I. Joe and you have Shipwreck. You got some big guy. in a 1970s Broadway musical top with
I
his little
love
white
it.
hat and a
Come
little pair.
on.
No one's going to go see that.
Come on, especially
No one's going to
Destro.
see that. No one's
Yeah.
going to go see. It's not going to make any money. People are just going to look at that and
But
think that looks
my
ridiculous.
point was, do you know how Travis Knight went back to just like real simple with Bumblebee? That's why I think they should do with this franchise if they do it. Don't spend so much money on like the effects. Just make us love these characters. I mean, that's all I could say. I mean,
But how
I
can
love
you do
G.I.
a
Joe. I
Transformers
love
G.I. Joe crossover without effects?
I mean, like they've been spending like Michael Bay effects. You don't need all that. You just need the camaraderie between the two groups, and then have a big war at the end. Fine, let's blow it all on there. But you can't just dilute everything because it's just a crap show with G.I. Joe. Those past two movies, even though The Rock was supposed to play Roadblock, he didn't talk like Roadblock. You know, it's like it was so far away from the G.I. Joe that I remembered that I do wish they would just go back to the source material on this one.
Again, you do that, and I don't think you attract anybody
I know,
to the
but
movies.
it would just be interesting for me to see. It would get me in the seat at least.
Maybe
for
there's
me.
a happy medium, you know, where they're not just wearing, you know, black clothing and tactical stuff, but there's some identifier, but it's not over the top. Like
It's
going
gonna
to
be a Michael Bay-ish film again if they do it. I know it.
I just don't see. Look, because the thing, we go back to the box office results of Snake Eyes. The fact, how much did you say it made opening weekend?
40.
40 million.
Oh,
No, opening
opening?
weekend.
Oh, 13 million.
$13 million opening weekend, right? People had to see it to know it was terrible.
Right.
Nobody cared to even go out on opening weekend to check it out. Nobody cared. I cared. I was excited for it. I thought the movie was going to be awesome. I just don't see any way that any investor, any executive with half a brain will greenlight a live action Transformers G.I. Joe crossover. Not right now, at any rate.
Yeah.
Maybe in 10 years, if the landscape changes and a nostalgia rush starts coming for G.I. Joe product in a couple of years, and maybe 10 years from now they can do it. But there's just no way they make this
It's going to
movie.
be a story about the soldier and his robot. Because that's what the Transformers are going to be in this crossover. They're going to be the vehicles for the G.I. Joes, right? Obviously, right?
Not really.
You don't think that's the
No,
way
I
they're
mean, that's
going to
not
write
really
it?
what the comics were. I mean, if you
Oh.
go back and try to do what the comics were, like, and then do you have Cobra aligning with the Decepticons? And anyway, I just,
Just,
it's just the bottom line. Nobody will go see these movies.
it's going to be like that thing of noodles that Michael Keaton put down in The Flash.
Oh,
He'll be like,
yes.
here's the G.I. Joes.
Here's this
Mix
is
it all together.
Decepticons. Now, if you bring in Beast, yeah, anyway. All right. Hey, guys, thanks a lot for checking out our video. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. And also, we do a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice.